Shawnee, what's up, buddy?
Huh.
Yeah.
What a day. What a day, huh?
Yeah, man. Oh boy, I know, and it's terrible. Everything's actually terrible right now. I was about to do a bit, but I was like, I shouldn't do a bit. How are you? How are you holding up in the West Coast?
Okay. The fire hasn't really gotten closer to us in the last couple days, so it's getting bigger, but it's growing north towards the forest. So, I mean, obviously not great still, but
hey, that doesn't sound good at all.
not. They're expecting it to burn until Halloween.
Oh my god, Sean, it's been really hazy here the last couple of days. There's 2 days where it's the sun was it was just hazy. It was weird. And I'm pretty sure I heard from someone who's heard from someone else that it was haze from the smoke. So I don't know how true that is, but it
they said the smoke got to Europe, so I wouldn't be surprised if it reached Philly for sure.
Oh god, then yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Logistically speaking, I don't know where the wind is blowing, but if
it
can make it to Europe, then it can probably
it flew out of PHL. So
it's crazy. We're doing okay though. I mean, took a nap, woke up to some more shitty news. RBG, RIP.
RIP, RBG. Yeah.
That one's a tough one too.
Yeah. I'm growing so fucking terrified. Can we do a segment? This is such a terrible fucking pivot, but I genuinely want to do a segment called oh man, I'm scared, buddy.
Oh man, oh jeez, with Sean and Andrew.
Fuck, oh man, oh jeez, it's so bad.
It's looking pretty bleak right now.
Yeah, his the fucking people he named. I know Ted Cruz was somebody he was thinking about
Tom Cotton, I think too.
Yeah. Ugh.
All-star cast, as we all would assume.
Yeah. Between that and the other thing that's really been fucking me up this week, because this is oh man, oh geez with Sean and Andrew, which is a way better title than what I had. The public school curriculum change up thing.
Ooh, yeah, that's some Hitler Youth shit.
That is terrifying. That is that is genuinely the scariest thing I've ever heard. I heard that, and then I had to go. I read that, and then I had to go into therapy, and I was just oh boy. I was Yolanda, I don't want to talk to you about this.
Let me tell you what's going on. Yeah. I mean, most of the shit I learned about America was online anyway. So, I mean, do your research. We're a flawed at best, at very best country.
Yep.
That's being as generous as humanly possible. There is a very dark underbelly to this country that I think we need to all address.
That it's time to stop ignoring. Yeah.
Anyway, The Boys. Actually, honestly, The Boys is a great show to talk about because they kind of address a lot of the shit that's happening in our country right now.
They are, and it's so my thing with season 2 so far is once it started, I was oh yeah, I really like this show. As I was watching it, it was both the first episode, I was wait, what the fuck happened last season? And then I would remember things, and then me being this is just good. It's a good show, and it's it tackles interesting things, and it's even I feel it's even about pop culture's place in kind of just how how it's kind of taken everything over and is
how there's also a culture war in general.
Yeah. It's hard to describe where it's it's just interesting where I'm I like that it's at least going for for things, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
good job. Like it does a pretty good job, at least like like I don't know, just like playing with stuff and it like being on like topical.
Yeah, because they kind of do it in the first season, and you're like, all right, this seems pretty grounded for like in cynical for what would probably happen.
Yeah,
but also now it's a little more on the nose, I guess.
Yeah,
but it's also like couldn't be more perfectly timed in a sad way, I guess, because I mean they didn't predict anything was gonna happen. But you know, like we were watching Harold and Kumar the other day, and I was like, "Fucking shit, don't change.
Shit don't change, bro.
Shit don't change, Charlie." Like
Throwing rocks at trains. Redman the robot. Wait, what?
Yeah.
In which Harold and Kumar?
Mostly the first one, but even both of them, they're like, you know, they talk about race and like police brutality,
right.
all these things, and it's like shit, man. Also, great movies.
Yeah.
But
I remember really enjoying the second one, and that's a movie I've been afraid to go back to because I'm just like, I don't know how the second one would hold up, but
no, I think it ages really well. I think just they talk about like the over militarization and just like, you know, the overreach of government and like Guantanamo Bay, and you know, it's illegal basically, you know, stuff like that. So and they're like profiled obviously, so you know, it's just like kind of refreshing to go back and watch a movie that you were like, oh, this is funny, and be like, oh, it was trying to say stuff too, you know. And The Boys is too, and I like that with a lot of certain comedies like this. Like they're, you know, a lot of people are probably rolling their eyes when they see a lot of these things, and like maybe there's a reason for that, and you should like look into that. Maybe, I don't know, but like the one big thing that sticks out is the Confederate flag painting mural of Homelander. In one of there's like one shot where it's like Huey, Starlight, and Mother's Milk. They're driving. They're on their road trip.
I must have missed that.
And there's a big like barn. There's like a side of a barn that's like Homelander, like in a superhero pose, and his cape is like floating back, but it's a Confederate flag instead of the American flag.
Oh my god, I missed that.
I was like, "Yep, there we go. There it is."
Ooh, fuck. A couple weeks ago, Kelly and I went to a drive-in, and we were driving past. I forget if I talked about this, but we were driving past, and we were in like middle of like Jim Thorpe area of like PA, which is like starting to get kind of Appalachia. I think, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but anyway, fucking Trump country. And there's people with like banners where it's him fucking photoshopped onto Rambo's body from First Blood Part 2, and like all these fucking flags that say like enough of the bullshit, like Trump 2020, like for him. And it's that like photoshopped of like, it's this like big
super machismo. Yeah.
Because that's
like, it's weird. It's super weird.
It's super fucking weird, but like also that's Homelander. Homelander has the big fake muscles and like the giant fucking codpiece, like, which I feel like here's real quick thing with Homelander. So one of the things I remember talking a lot about in the first season, his weird smile, how it's like slightly off. It looks like they really accentuated it this season. Like it looks like he has like shit in his mouth. Like he's got like dip all the time almost. Like if they reveal
like something like corners in his mouth to like make his smile bigger or something.
No, it's his lip, because his smile's off. And that was like a thing that I remember talking about that in the first season, because it was like a thing where I was like so confused by it. I'm like, is that just that guy's face? Is that on purpose? Because it's like, for the first season especially, like Homelander's smile being just wrong was like a really good detail that I really liked. But in this one, it looks like he has like dip, or like one of those like if they reveal that Homelander dips like in like the third season or something, I would be like, that's great. And he's just always had like a little bit of a lip, like
he's just always rocking a buzz.
But
it's like what a weird thing for him to do. But yeah,
I feel like they toned that up and they toned down the codpiece. I feel like that was like a thing. I don't know. I feel like I haven't noticed it in the second season, his like giant bulge, because he had a
I think they shoot him differently too in this season.
Yeah, his suit looks
it's like leaner. Different. Yeah, it looks a little less fake, like a little less padded, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know. It probably maybe it's just a better suit. Maybe they got a more budget.
They probably did. But I mean, and then speaking of the budget, watching this, because I feel like I haven't watched like an Amazon Prime show. I've been watching a lot of like Netflix stuff. This looks great. Like,
Oh yeah.
everything Netflix puts out all kind of looks the same. You know what I mean? Like, maybe you could debate me on that. I don't know, because I feel like you're more of a camera person, but like, I feel like
Yeah,
Netflix,
I mean, they have a standard and they pretty much stick to it.
this just looks better. Like the colors and just like everything about it just looks better. And I'm like, what? I don't understand, but I don't know.
Yeah, Trachtenberg did the pilot. Trachtenberg.
Yeah, who did 10
Um,
Cloverfield Lane?
Yeah. So I mean, good starting point. But yeah, has a little bit of sequelitis to like the season overall, but like we also don't know really how it's playing out.
What do you mean? I'm pretty into it so far.
I'm really into it. I
Yeah.
just like, I was reading some things about like how like I guess they're probably like setting up a big fight between Black Noir and Karen blanking on our last name's character.
Fukuhara, I think.
Fukuhara, yeah.
I'm probably mispronouncing it. Yeah, Karen Fukuhara. Also known as Katana. She's
Didn't
got my
realize
back.
that until very recently. I was like, oh shit.
She's got my back. Something. Her sword contains the souls of her enemies.
I figured if James Gunn was gonna keep one person from the original around, it would have been her.
At least the sword. I hope the sword gets a cameo.
It's just such a weird thing. I feel like he would love that.
Oh yeah. Well, that became like a meme. She's great. She there's a Netflix animated show called Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, which the third season's coming out in like a couple weeks in October. And so it is a great fucking show. It's like a lo-fi like beats to cartoon 2 show. If you watch it, I feel like that makes sense. Like, I'm pretty sure the RZA has done a lot of music for it. It's really good, but she's the main character. And I don't know, I like her. She's good.
I guess like with the music and stuff too, I pointed out, I was like, you can kind of tell the music budget got bigger, and like, which is not a bad thing, I don't think, but
no, but it's that like samey kind of, that's like the superhero genre now is like, that's what the Umbrella Academy does. Like the Umbrella Academy is just like, let's do a pop song and like something else. Like in this, I'm like,
I like that it's all Billy Joel. At least it's consistent with Huey, and I also just feel like we're not really getting a whole lot of Huey in this season.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like it's sidelining the boys a lot, actually. Now that
yeah,
because like Butcher's not in the we're going to talk about the first 5 episodes because that's what's out, because Butcher's not in the first episode at all.
If he is, he's at like the very end. That's like when they show like, oh, here he is, and then it ends, and then the next episode starts or whatever.
Yeah, he pulls a Barbosa.
Yeah. Nice. Relevant. Just rewatched all 5 of those. Oh, probably should just stop at 1.
I was about to say rewatched, so you've seen 5. I've seen 5.
Yes, I have seen 5. And
You saw 5 once before?
Yes, I can tell you one thing that happens. They steal a house. They steal the bank. That's the only thing I remember in that.
Jack Sparrow's introduced waking up on a wine drunk on a big pile of money. And it's like, oh boy. And then he immediately
drunk for the rest of the movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
No, I really like where they're going. I love what they're doing with the Deep. That is probably like my favorite storyline right now.
The Deep, I'm like, what are they doing with him right now?
Well, he's like trying to do his redemption tour, and I think it's like fascinating to like when he trips and stuff. I was like, this is great. This is so funny. Like watching him do this like Vision Quest bullshit, and like Patton Oswalt is his skills.
Yeah, the Deep. One of the things I liked about the first season was after he assaults Starlight, we just keep cutting back to him, and his life just gets worse and fucking worse and worse. And in this season, it's about him trying to, like, I almost hope he like Kevin Spacey's it at some point. Like he's just like that. He's just one of like this like fucking canceled people who's just choosing not to go away. And I hope that they kind of explore that more, because the tripping scene where Patton Oswalt is his gills, though, was like so weird.
He's listening to Goo Goo Dolls. It was great.
Because they're so good at, like, the Deep's great too, because it's just like, you fucking know this dude.
Yeah.
Like, where you're just like, oh, he fucking just sucks. And he's just like, with his like little buzzed head, he looks a lot like Sean William Scott, which is distracting. But yeah. And his gills talking to him about like, oh, you think people are going to judge you before, so you like basically like attack people like in advance, is like, it's a lot. But I don't know. It's his like, especially because now he's like a face of like their version of Scientology, which is going to be a thing. It's fucking great.
So that's like where they're going with him.
I did what last thought, or another thing on the Deep, though, the episode where with the speedboat, where they almost make him cool for a second. Like when the speedboat's going and then suddenly a bunch of sharks are chasing their boat, and like you see all everything is like coming, and then suddenly a whale jumps in front of the boat and he's like riding it, but in a way that looks like he's super intense, but he looks like a fucking like weirdo for like just a second, and it's like blowhole goes off and he gets like sprayed with like goo. And then they just drive the speedboat into the whale, and like, and he's just done. He's like, oh my god, they killed, like,
so bloody and gross.
Fucking Huey sees its giant beating heart, and he's just like staring at it. And it's like, so
they're just, oh god, yeah. The ship, like the boat goes like almost completely through it. It was so rough.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just fucking the Deep at his lowest.
No, I don't think we've seen it lowest.
Well,
like,
so far, I guess.
If this, he can't ever get redeemed. Like that's like the thing with him. Like he can't ever get redeemed. That's what they've set up and established. He cannot get a redemption arc. Especially,
well, yeah, because they're all half-assed, shallow, like PR moves. That's like, you know, it's that's why I like it. It's like he's not going to, but it's just like funny to see that like they're still sticking with this dude. Like they haven't written him off the show in a way. You know, it's like, oh no, we're gonna watch this happen. You know,
it's great because now people are starting to try and use him like one way or the other, just because he's so desperate to be like liked again. Like Maeve comes to him in the 5th episode to be like, to try and like use him as like leverage and stuff like that. And it's just like, and he's just so like, but now he's like in a cult. So he's just like brainwashed, and he's like, yeah, no, anything. Like, yeah, absolutely. This is food for your soul.
It's like super, super positive, like that fake positivity. And it's very well performed too, I think. Like it's great.
He again, because it's like you know that dude, and it's like he's it's interesting. Yeah, I'm just curious where it's gonna go. Like if it goes really Deep like kills himself, I'd be like, all right. That's very honestly, like, for this show.
Yeah, I could see it going there. He's just like, well, fuck it. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Dark, but
yeah. Speaking of like killing people off, they kill a bunch of people off right off the bat.
Who'd they kill?
They kill Jennifer Esposito's character, and they haven't really touched on that since it happened.
Oh my god! Right, her head fucking
explodes. Yeah, it's
out
like
of
super
nowhere.
gruesome.
And I was like, oh no! I was like, oh no! It was what's her name? Oh no! Jennifer Esposito from Taxi. From what?
Master of Disguise, bro.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I knew it was. I said Taxi with Jimmy
She's
Fallon.
also in that, yeah.
Oh boy, I was really hoping she wasn't in both. Yeah, because when they killed her off, that was one of the moments where I was like, okay, who is that though? Because I kind of forgot. She was like their FBI kind of. Like, contact.
She's like the deputy director at the FBI or something, and was helping them get like information, and was gonna help Butcher with getting like Compound V out as like a whistleblower, I guess.
Right. She was on board with them.
Yeah, if they could prove it, kind of thing, which they did, obviously. But like, yeah, her nose started bleeding and then her head just exploded. So that leads me to believe it was like something in her head, probably.
who's that? Or there could be a character who we haven't met yet who's like a psychic who can just blow up people's fucking heads. It could be Giancarlo Esposito. Like, I wouldn't be surprised
if he's a soup. Yeah, secret soup.
Yeah.
I was waiting. Well, yeah, I was like kind of because then further on in the show they bring back Elizabeth Shue, and I was like, is she fucking soup?
I was like, what is this? I was like, is she soup? What? Did he not kill her? And then because I was like, I'm pretty sure.
Is she cloned? Like that was all. Yeah.
Let's talk about Homelander then.
I fucking love. It's terrifying. It's fucking so scary what they're doing with him, and I'm eating it up.
So this season is basically about his public images starting to, like, he's tanking himself basically. Like, he keeps fucking up and he's looking worse and worse, but they make him like the dude playing him is great, but like the way that they like frame him and like show him off is terrifying. Just because I just watched the last episode, the scene where he's talking to all the protesters and everyone turns on him in the giant crowd, and he heat blasts everybody, and he just like fucking like melts and like rips people in half with his like heat vision, and they have that aerial shot of it. My jaw fucking dropped. I was like, Jesus Christ. It was like, I had a feeling it was gonna be in his head, but I was like, Jesus Christ.
You know what he's capable of now, and like that's probably gonna happen to an extent now at some point in the show. Like, they're definitely setting that up, I think.
And the scary thing was it's so easy.
Yeah. And he's just like, well, all right, and then leaves, and you're just like, like, yeah. It's like,
because he switches it on.
Yeah,
and he's just like, it's he's terrifying. Him having a son is interesting too. Kind of doing like a dark Superman Returns, where he's trying to follow this kid who he just doesn't like. He really doesn't like the kid. He's just like, come on, use your powers. The kid's like, what? And he's like,
come on. Let's stop pussyfooting around. Let's go. Come on. Yeah.
Pushes him off the roof. And I was like, oh my God, did he just fucking kill that kid? Because I wasn't sure if
he's just doing everything wrong. Like, everything you would think that is like supposed to happen in this scenario is like horribly wrong. And I really like where they're going with him. I think that this is so far, I think, his season for sure.
100%. This season's more focused on the soups, I think.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what is Huey? Huey's just like sad that like.
Well, they also kind of got their W. Like, it's out. Like, that was like their one. It was like a pretty big win for them.
Yeah, because now they're just kind of like on the run. It's more that they're on the run, and like the soups are like kind of closing in on them. So like, but I feel like they don't have as much like agency. Like, Huey's just like, oh my God, Starlight, you're like great. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where I'm just like, oh God, even I'm like, Huey. Jesus.
Yeah, they're definitely, well, because that's what I always liked about this show is there's always that impending, like, this guy can just bust through the wall at any minute and just kill all these fucking people. Like, there's always that element hanging over their heads of, like, Homelander's looking for him, like, especially in the first season with Translucent and all that. And they're like, there's that urgency to the first season that, like, I don't know if I feel necessarily, even though they're still hiding from them.
Yeah, I don't feel as much of an urgency like with that. Like, in the third episode, I was like, oh, they're on a boat now? Like, I've been having like a little bit of difficulty like tracking like kind of where they're at.
Yeah, they're just kind of like ping-ponging around, like pinballing around, it seems like.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like if they're like just desperate to like not be seen. If like they're just, because they go to their his butcher's aunts. Mm-hmm. We meet Terror the dog, which is great. I love Terror.
Terror's great. Terror's in the comics. Have you read any of the comics?
I have not. I kind of want to read them now.
I read the first volume, and it's a thing where the comics are. I never read the Kick-Ass comic, but like I know in the comic, like his girlfriend cheats on him, and like fucks a dude and like tapes it and like sends it to a bunch of people.
In Kick-Ass, yes,
but in the movie. They like just have like a genuinely like pretty good relationship.
Happy ending, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's good. But the kick-ass comic I know is like grosser. Like it's more like it's more like trying to be like shocking, and the boys falls into that. Like Terror the dog, I'm pretty sure like fuck somebody like in the first volume. I'm probably wrong, but like the thing where Carl Urban tells him to like fuck it, like that's a reference to the comic where like if he tells Terror to do it, Terror's gonna fuck stuff, which is like weird.
Yeah, that's a bit much, and also like probably damn near impossible to shoot. So that's probably why they don't bother. Like dogs don't work with children or dogs. It's just really difficult.
Yeah, well, in the show, Terror was like a prop, where it's just this big meaty meatball, just like be like, whoa, oh, so cute.
It's so cute. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I like. All right, so then you kind of have that side story of like they're definitely doing more Butcher stuff this season.
Yeah, because his wife doesn't want to leave.
Is it necessarily that, or is it she kind of can't?
Well, she can't, because if she leaves with their son,
she's a dead woman. Like,
yeah,
they're gonna
everyone
die.
is.
Yeah. Which I'm like, this is fucking great. It was a great cliffhanger for season 1. You find out that she's alive. First of all, she has the kid, and it's his kid. It's Homelander's kid. Yeah. And then you find out in season 2, she's in this massive like gated Vought facility, I guess, and I'm assuming like
Truman Show.
Yeah, it's like everyone in there an actor. Like I don't like they haven't gone into that, but I'm like I kind of want to see that. I hope they do an episode where it's a bottle episode of just like what she does every day.
Just about to say, I would fucking love that, yeah. Or like the kid. I would love one from the kid's perspective. Or even if that's like the B plot of like an episode where we're just following the kid who's now like noticing, because he knows like Homelander's his dad and he has powers and stuff. Because it didn't seem like the kid knew he had powers, right?
George. No, I don't think, not until Homelander started kind of showing up, doing his thing. George. Sorry. George. Come here.
Georgie.
Come here. He likes this when I squeak my hands.
That's pretty good. You gotta leave that in. That's good.
Good boy.
Meanwhile, I got a kitty.
Boy.
Meanwhile, I got a little kitty in my underwear drawer again.
It's Animal Talk with Sean and Andrew.
Back to Animal
Talk. No, I really like the whole like they went to such extreme lengths to cover this up.
Yeah.
Insane.
Well,
lengths.
It's also they just don't. It's them trying to do a more controlled Homelander 2, because Homelander 1 was super fucking powerful, and he didn't have any family or parents or anything, and he was just a fucking sociopath. Because he was raised in a lab. So now it's like a lab, but it's like a giant set. So they're like trying to. It's like trying to like
a little more normal, but still controlled.
It's what the fuck is the old sitcom that Lil Ron Howard was on? I can't remember.
Andy Griffith's Show.
It's like that. Like put him in like a weird like sitcom-y like idyllic bubble to like give him those like family values and stuff, like to like force Superman to like be made.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought. I would love to see that episode, even if they do it as like a separate like bonus, like mid between things, like that'd be cool.
Yeah. Well, they did that bonus episode, which was like a deleted scene about like what Butcher did after he got dropped off. I liked, though, the cliffhanger from season 1 was Butcher dropped off in the front yard of his wife's house, looking at his son, and Homelander like floating above, I think. And then it just like it like ended on like this tableau. And after they just like Butcher just got dropped off in a parking lot, and he didn't know where, and he didn't know where they landed. He didn't know anything. So all he could do is just like fucking like write down as many details as possible to like try and like be like, these are the things I'm looking for. I don't know where this is. Like, I liked that a lot, because I was like, that's like fucking terrifying.
Yeah. It's a wild show, dude. I really like it.
Yeah.
I love where they're going with the characters. Look at the tofu. Hi, tofu.
Hi, tofu. She's fine. As long as she doesn't discover the crinkle bag that is up on top of my bureau. Here, this is a sock drawer. Yeah, Butcher's good. I really don't have a lot to say about Huey other than but I guess that's the problem where I'm like, what is going on with him this season? I don't know.
Yeah, and like no Simon Pegg. I was kind of hoping he might come back.
Did he die in the first season?
I don't think so.
Okay, because it felt like they like alluded to that, but I mean Simon Pegg I feel like would come back. Like what else? Simon Pegg's just getting weirdly ripped. Like
Doing the Mission Impossible movies, trying to keep up with Tom Cruise.
no, but he's like doing some movie where he's like a drug addict or something, and like he got like weirdly ripped for it. Like you can Google it. It's also just like oh weird. But it also makes sense where it's like Simon Pegg low key has kind of been an action movie guy. Like
Yeah.
all the Edgar Wright movies are like low key legit action movies, but
Star Trek, fucking Star Wars, even though he doesn't really do a whole lot in Star Wars, but
well,
he's
he
in
was
a
allowed to
fucking
let
giant suit. And...
no, that was mostly real. He was allowed to let himself go to play Unkar Plutt. Remember Unkar Plutt? Do you think he showed up in Rise of Skywalker?
That would have been funny if he was just like flies up at the end, be like, "That's my ship still." Like,
Exactly.
Come on, fucking why not? Throw everything at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Unkar Plutt return and be like, "Give me that ship." Or whatever. I don't want to talk about Rise of Skywalker. I was just about to, and I'm stopping myself.
We have a real problem.
We really do. And you know what the problem is? The Rise of Skywalker.
I guess we need therapy or something. Yeah. I like Stormfront more and more. I was like, okay, she's new, cool. Got that like, Portland SJW vibe, with the haircut and all that.
Social media, like she knows how to manipulate social media, and she's not here for whatever Vought is talking about,
Which is great because at first you think that, and then you're like, oh wait, no, she's a secret racist and might also be soup from the 70s, Liberty.
Yeah. The reveal of her at the end of the third episode it just like starts happening, and you're just like, oh god, because there wasn't really a lot of groundwork laid for that. Not that I can think of, but I feel like I had that spoiled for me before I started watching, but like her being like a racist who like knows how to manipulate like social media is really, really interesting. And that I feel like is one of the more
especially after the last episode.
Yeah, super fucking topical, where it's just like the Trump kind of like playbook.
Yeah, the scene where she goes full on racist and kills her brother.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I had to rewind it because I was like, did I just fucking hear that? I was like, what the fuck? Because I think that's why it's so shocking, because you're like, okay, now I'm kind of getting vibes that she's like, she knows what she's doing and she's like playing the game. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, what? Like, super turn, like hard turn there.
I rewound it once she started killing civilians. I was like, what did I miss here? Like, why did this start happening? And then she kills the one family, and then she kills the second dude in the stairs, and I was like, they're all black people. Oh no. Yeah. Because the show does like a little bit where it's like, oh no, she's cool. Like, what's her name? Starlight seems to kind of be like looking up to her, and I like that Starlight learns that there's like something up with her like sooner rather than later, because like they never click at any point, which I kind of like. But yeah, so she's like a secret racist, and then they also alluded to the original Vought dude being like a Nazi.
Yeah, oh fuck yeah, dude. Giancarlo Esposito fucking devours every scene he's in. Like, just fucking plate it up and give it to the man. That scene with Homelander where he's like, oh yeah, well, we like to like, we care about our image here, and like no one knows that Vought was a Nazi scientist, and then scrub his record clean, he's making the serum for us, like, which is like basically was our space program.
Yeah, Operation Paperclip.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that was like there's those little details in this show that are just like,
because then like Homeland, my current theory is like Homelander was like a like Nazi like experiment at this point, because he looks
super fucking Aryan looking.
he looks the part. Yeah, because there's that, and with Stormfront, and I mean, at the end of the 5th episode, Stormfront now is starting to help him, and she knows how to play the game.
Yeah, they're doing the memes. They're making all the sewing the fucking Discord, dude. It pissed me off that I was watching it, but I was also like, this is what you got to do with the show for sure.
Yeah, all the fucking memes are just like Trump support shit, and they're like, look at it's pointing out like
it's
things
fake.
Saying things are fake or photoshopped or whatever. And she's like, when you see it pop up in your uncle's Facebook feed, that's when you know it's working. And I was just like, it's not like that's like super trenchant commentary or anything, but it's enough where I'm just like, no, but that does work.
But it is like, I think, a logical leap for the show to make for what they've like established in the universe and everything.
100%.
Yeah, that's why I just love the premise of this show, and I've read the comics, but I'm sure it's expanding on what the comics laid out too, for sure. I can't imagine them if possibly predicting all of this, right? Like,
I only read the first volume, which doesn't line up with the first season of the show either. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know,
kind of like a loose adaptation kind of spiel. Yeah, I mean, it's super clever. It's super topical. There's Gail came in, and it was during their sex scene at the end of the episode.
Yep.
And I was like, when you have context, it's way better. It's super goofy though. It's like it's because it is super goofy.
Because them like punching each other through like walls, but neither of them have pants, and then like they're just like the best part though is when she pushes his head down, and then he's like still like looking at her, and she's just like, you hear like she like uses her powers to be like, no, get in there. I was like,
yeah,
great.
It was like super powered version of like the 300 sequel sex scene. Which is like the only other thing I can possibly compare this to, because
you're right. It's a weird like sex fight. Are we doing a Mr. and Mrs. Smith right now? What?
Yeah.
No. Jesus Christ, that's so funny.
But I loved it. I was like, this is super goofy. It's great. Some great wire work in there.
Yeah, and it makes sense, but it's also feels topical where he's dressed as a super American like caricature, and he's aligning now with like a social media Nazi. It's like, oh wait, no, this has happened. Oh no. Yeah. It's great, and I like where that's going storyline wise, because I'm like, that's interesting, and like, but then also that's gonna pacify him because he's a weird fucking he's got all these fucking sexual hang-ups, and she's like, whatever. This is the first superhero thing I was able to get my girlfriend to watch too, because I told her that there's weird people have weird sexual hang-ups and there's weird sex stuff. And she's like, hello. So she's been watching it. So I texted her. I was like, I just watched the new episode. She watched basically all of season 1 yesterday and is like up to episode 3 of season 2 right now. I was like, just wait, there's some weird sex stuff coming up.
Going back to Elizabeth Shue, they bring her back and you're like, what the fuck? And then it turns out that it's doppelganger. Yeah, which he's in the first season.
Oh yeah, the doppelganger reveal I really liked. I like that they brought in another old character, and not only that though, like they've brought in a couple other random soups. I liked Gecko, who can regrow his limbs, and will like be like, yeah, sure, you can go to a motel, put some plastic down, and chop off my arms. I don't give a shit. Like if you like pay me, like I like that. I like all the world building of all the grossness. It's good.
Like all the depraved shit that like, oh yeah, if someone that had that power and wanted to do that could do that.
Yeah. But they're also really reveling in like people like fucking up. Like A-Train, I was like, why is he still even here at all? Like, I was like surprised.
That's what I fucking Dawn of the Seven, the movie that they're making.
It's great. I
super awesome. Fucking love it.
I love that they're making a fucking superhero movie, and it's like one of the great details was like Maeve, who I would also like to talk about. She is like walking through a bunch of rubble, and it's just a cop car with NYPD on it, and I'm like, it would be NYPD.
Yeah. No, it's great. Well, because it does take place in New York, but
yeah, but like a super Canadian version of New York, right?
yeah, they shoot in Vancouver for sure. But yeah, no, it's the fucking guy from Wolf of Wall Street is like the director, producer, and he's just like doing the whole storyboard spiel, and it's just like so cringy and like on the nose, but like great.
Well, the storyboard spiel is also like, this is going to unite the seven, and they're like off after a guy like named like Mendoza or something. Like I was like, this isn't like what? Or they're like after a guy, and then they cut to the filming, and it's like New York is destroyed. I'm like, what is this? And they write into the movie that A Train is leaving the team.
Yeah,
and
like they're.
He films the scene with Homelander's body double. I was like, this is great. I
loved it.
So good. I like that.
And like it looks like the Dawn of Justice logo, the Dawn of the Seven. It's fucking.
It's so
chef's
good.
Kiss.
I like Ashley, who seems like she would be like Joan Cusack's daughter, but isn't.
Yeah, you know, I feel so bad for her.
She's why?
Because
her character?
Yeah, like she's
or because she seems like Joan Cusack's daughter.
No, almost. She's just like terrified of Homelander. So it's just like, oh god, like
her hair's falling out.
When it was when Homelander
was confronting their fake AOC.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tense scene. That was really fucking good.
Really good. The I like that she has more to do because she's got like, again, she's got a weird like Joan Cusack energy where I'm like, I like seeing her on screen, but like there is that tension where she is terrified to do anything wrong, but is trying to like keep like that positivity up, like.
Yeah, because everything's going to shit right now, and she's the one that had of like damage control.
Yeah, and A Train's just like, you used to get my coffees. And it's just like. Maeve's story is also pretty good, but it's Maeve feels like I feel like there's not enough focus thrown on her sometimes, but her storyline just like sucks. Where Homelander like outs her, and she just like has to now have a public relationship because she's gay or she's bisexual.
But he outs her as gay because she says like doesn't she say like I'm bisexual, but like.
No, they keep saying that she's in a lesbian relationship, and then her partner corrects the PR team saying that she's bisexual. So she's on the spectrum, obviously. I don't want to say the wrong thing right now. I don't
No, of course not. Of course not.
I did like the detail, though, that she identifies as bisexual, not lesbian, and like, because
but they're like putting her in that box of like,
yes,
you're lesbian, like powerful.
Yeah. Because it's like, I think right now it's like bi visibility week, I believe, because bi erasure is like a big thing. That's like a thing. So the show is also alluding to that. But I like that that's happening, and she's also starting now to like try and turn against Homelander because he's just ruining their relationship because they had a fake for show relationship for a while, and I don't know, it's interesting.
Well, yeah, because he's doing anything he can to control people, basically.
Yeah. And
he knows he's losing control.
Yep. And she doesn't want it anymore. She's just like, fuck this guy.
He wishes.
No, he's got a new girl. But then we got to talk about number one character of the whole show, Black Noir.
Yeah, he's weirdly has a lot to do in this season.
He's got a lot to do this season. He's in like the opening scene of the season. He's murdering a lot of people, and he fought him. Yeah,
they also like he's like super powerful, and like no one ever talks about it. He like regenerates.
Or he's like immune. So there's two things I want to say about that. Number one, him and Karen Fukuhara's powers are like really ill defined. Where I'm like, what do you have? Like,
yeah.
Because she got shot a bunch and then like kept like walking it off. I was like, oh, she can do that. Okay, is she Wolverine? I don't know, but this is a comic spoiler. In the comics, at some point, do you care if I spoil it?
No, it's okay.
I don't think the show can do the spoiler full out. Spoilers for anyone listening. Black Noir eventually is unmasked, and he's like a clone of Homelander, apparently. It's like something like that. Or he's like a second Homelander. It's something weird. So there's part of me that thinks the show might have it where they do a reveal that Homelander sometimes wears his suit so that he can go and just murder people indiscriminately just with his bare hands, because that's like what he was doing.
Oh.
But then also when Black Noir attacked the house, he was like covered in shrapnel and was like, he's like terrifying, but they make him so weird too. Like when he finds out about Compound V, he's like crying in the hallway, like with headphones on. And like they do shit like that, which is so good. Because he's just, oh god.
Yeah, because he's definitely more of a comedic punching bag in the first season.
The best.
And now he's like kind of scary, and like it somehow works. Like it's like they can do both with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's kind of just like a Mandalorian empty canvas kind of thing. Like you can project what you're supposed to be feeling onto him.
Exactly. He's like the robot from Bill and Ted, whose name I already forgot.
The new one. Caleb,
yeah, Dennis
Caleb. Oh. Dennis Caleb McCoy.
Yeah, Dennis Caleb McCoy. I have a name. I feel like that's kind of like Black Noir. Yeah, my favorite moment I think in the first season is just like Homelander at a meeting grilling everybody and like, Noir, you're doing great. Keep it up. And he's like, thumbs up. It's so good.
Yeah, no, I love that character because you can just kind of do whatever with him and have it be effective.
Exactly. And when he was like sitting in the cul-de-sac, like on top of that other house, it's like, oh, that's not good. He's scary. He's not one that you would want to have after you because you'd be like, what is this thing? I'm getting attacked by a little kitten. We didn't talk too much about Starlight, but I like she's being a lot more active.
Yeah, and she's definitely like playing the game more, and she's playing both sides, like she's, Mac. She's always come out on top.
Yeah,
and like she obviously in the beginning she's pissed at Huey obviously for lying and concocting this whole plan to destroy the Seven. And then she's like, oh, wait, maybe this is all fucked up. And then obviously like the Compound V shit comes out. Like that was a huge thing that I didn't expect was going to happen so soon. And I was kind of like, oh, fuck. Like where does this go now?
Because it's like a background simmer where it's like people's trust in the superheroes is like really falling apart. But I feel like we're not
seeing it yet.
We're getting it, but I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that did happen in like the second episode.
But that's also kind of a commentary on things here too, because we hear horrible shit every single day and nothing really happens. So,
for example, see our opening segment. Jeez, oh man,
it's like, hey, it must be a day ending in Y in these times, huh?
Yeah, everything's so bad.
Yeah, it's nice to take a step back and be like, oh yeah, this is a nightmare.
Yeah,
Take a step back every once in a while and remind yourself.
100%, but
because then the rest of the day you're like, all right, I could go about my day now, right? I'm good.
Might as well, yeah. Dude, like today, wasn't feeling great. And then I borrowed my brother's dog and went for a hike with my brother's dog. It was great.
Yeah,
it's really, really great.
Hey, enjoy the little things in life.
100%.
Like your dog falling, like a dog falling asleep on top of you. There's nothing better than that.
Oh,
so cute.
I wish that happened when I took him back. He fell asleep within like 5 minutes. He was Shaq. Shaq was out.
My name is Shaq.
His full name is Shaquille O'Nealis. Yeah.
That's perfect.
He is so sweet. He is the sweetest fucking dog in the world. He barked like twice. Although, wait, real quick, this could kind of fall into the Ogado Man territory. I've told like 5 people this thing that happened on my walk. At one point, Shaq did this like 3 times where he just got tired and just laid down in the middle of the trail. And I was like, come on, you got to get up. You got to at least move to the side. And the first time he did it, a lady came up from one of the side trails that was like, we're on the Wissahickon where there's like a main like super wide trail and there's a lot of offshoots that kind of go all out. Some lady came from one of the offshoots. She walks up and she's like, oh, puppy. And I was like, oh, yeah. And she looks at me and says, are you voting for Joe Biden? Or no. She said, do you support Joe Biden? She scream-asked. She had headphones in, and I guess that's why. And I was like, I paused because I was like, either way, this is a trap. If this is
the
the
right answer here.
if this is the way this lady's asking me, this is a trap. So I was like, yeah. But I definitely sounded more scared probably because I was just like, I don't want this. I don't want to engage with this. But she's like said it so loud, and there's a lot of other people around where I was like, and then she looked at me unblinking and said, he's gonna be so great. And it's got me so. Then she walked away, and then I grabbed Shaq, I started petting him. I was like, you gotta fucking move out of the middle of the path because I don't want to talk to anybody like that again. And I was like petting him, but it's got me so rattled because I'm just like, what does she mean? Did she mean that sarcastically? Did she actually mean it? Like, I genuinely don't know.
World's gone crazy, man.
World's on fire. How about yours? I don't really like it, and I'd rather be bored.
I don't know. Are those the lyrics? I don't know. Hey now, I don't like it. Speaking as someone whose world is on fire.
Whew. Jesus Christ.
But dude, the boys though, man.
The boys are back in town.
I needed this show because it's like I can still like remember how bad things are because it reminds me of the show a little bit, because it always has that real world element. But I also get to be like, at least they're not super powered.
Mm-hmm.
But
you know what else is comforting about it? The release schedule. I love
having something to look forward to.
I love that they did 3 and now it's once a week until it's done. I adore that. I adore this because it doesn't feel like work. I'm like, oh, I can be excited about this because like I watched like the first 3 episodes last week. By the time I finished, the new one was out. And I was like, oh, that was great. And I was like, all right, gotta wait till. I was like excited. I was like, oh, all right, man. Now I can wait till.
No, it's nice. It's really nice. It's great. I think that's the way a lot of streamers will go after this because I think it's probably successful. It's nice to have something to look forward to every Friday. I'll tell you that, and you can definitely look for more of these. At least 3 more, I guess.
Yeah.
Every
then
Friday.
Mando.
Friday, but
Remember the hell?
Mando, dude. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
There's probably something not coming to HBO tonight or tomorrow too that might be decent.
Well, there's Lovecraft County and then Raised by Wolves, which I want to watch. But
Raised by Wolves got renewed.
Really?
For the second season.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know what it is, and every time I see like a thumbnail of it, I'm like, what is this? I just want to watch.
Apparently, it's good enough for a second season, so that's cool.
Yeah, it looks fucking crazy. Well, yeah, we're gonna do. I want to keep covering this show. And oh shit, my food just got here. So
perfect timing.
So
Deedly-doo. Stay safe, wear a mask. Follow us. Follow that. Who cares?
You guys know. I'm very hungry. Yeah. It's late.
Bye.
Bye.